Good morning, friends. I hope you're doing well. You know, a lot of things I learned in the university really were not practical. The make or break ingredients of living a life that's peaceful, restful, and healthy, I didn't really learn that in school. So this is a list, part one today, of things I did not learn in the university that I consider to be essential. And one is, just nutrition, our health. When I was in school, we never talked about health, never talked about what we should eat, never talked about the impacts of a bad diet, didn't know what a standard American diet was, didn't know how many calories you need to burn to lose 1 pound. You go through the Walmart checkout and you see all these covers saying lose 40 pounds in 40 days by eating asparagus enzyme. That's ridiculous, but that's all I knew. Ecclesiastes 10:17 says, eat for strength, not for drunkenness. And in the book of Daniel, you see Daniel 1 verse 8, he purposed in his heart, what? To eat good food. I mean, he didn't want to defile himself. So this morning for breakfast, this is what I had, some granola. We make it ourselves. When you make your food yourself, when you cook it yourself, you control the ingredients. No refined sugars, no additives, no preservatives. This is all just whole grain, nutritional, healthy, and doesn't cost a lot if you make it at home yourself. And if you want to sweeten it, you can put a few dates in. You can, throw some raisins in. You can cut up a banana. But it's just whole grains, and it's very good for you, very healthy. And it's what you need. You're going through a long day. This gives you energy. It sticks with you, through the day. And then also, this is it's a chapati or flatbread. It's unleavened and it's very easy to make. It's just a whole grain flour, wheat, and a little water. And to make it a little softer, maybe we throw some squash in or some watermelon. But it's really good. Costs nothing. If you make it yourself at home, it doesn't cost anything. You go into a health food store, you buy the Ezekiel bread or some kind of healthy bread, and it costs you an arm and a leg. At home, we can make a loaf up for less than $1. And it's good for you. Of course, number one cause of death in the United States, the world, heart and blood vessel disease. But a leading cause of death is prostate and breast cancer. Now for me, I'm a candidate. I'm in that age group where prostate cancer is a real issue. If I want to avoid that, I just follow God's plan for health, which is go out to the garden, get the food the way God made it. Boil it, bake it, steam it, eat it raw, don't fry it. Don't eat processed, don't eat refined foods. When a man gets hold of God's food, it does not improve it. Don't process it, don't refine it. Eat all the colors, all the kinds. That's God's plan for health. So another thing I had this morning, it's kind of hard to see. This is banana crisp. It may not look so pretty, but it's oats, bananas, dates, walnuts, and that's about it. Banana crisp. I really enjoyed that this morning for breakfast. So, I didn't realize that weight loss is very simple. You eat less or you burn more. 3,500 calories equals 1 pound. So if I go out this morning, get a lot of exercise, get work out in the garden, today I burned 7,000 calories and I eat 3,500, I've lost 1 pound. It's a very simple mathematical formula, no mysteries, no secrets, no quick fix, no easy way out. You have to either burn more or eat less. And these essential ingredients that we need, phytochemicals, these plant chemicals found in all the good food that's out in the garden. Usually people think of lycopene and prostate cancer prevention, or beta-carotene converted into vitamin A, good for your eyes. You got all these carotenoids, you got all these families of phytochemicals that are very, very good for you. And these foods that are just high in fiber, all the foods have fiber. Everything out in the garden has fiber. Fiber fights these diseases, diverticulosis, hemorrhoids, varicose veins. There's a range of things, even prostate cancer and breast cancer. The red flag for both, a risk factor, is a diet low in fiber. So if you eat from the garden, you don't have to worry about those things. And if you grow it yourself, you don't have to worry about the threat of GMO foods. The jury is still out on that one. You can't research it because people don't know what they're eating. There's no law saying you have to say this is GMO. So, but you know what it is if you grow it in the garden yourself. The price is minimal, and in the process you get your exercise, sunshine, take your water bottle, you get your water, all these health-giving, life-giving ingredients to having a vital existence, being full of life and energy. You can come across all that in the garden. You don't have to go to the gym at night. You get your exercise out there in the garden, and it's a very simple plan. But in the university, at lunchtime, I was going into the cafeteria eating boiled eggs and tuna and thought that was good for me. I did not understand. I was a product of university education, which left out the essential ingredient of food and health and nutrition. These foods that are just calorie dense, the processed foods, donuts, Krispy Kreme donuts, cookies, cakes, all these processed foods, low in nutritional value, high in refined foods, high in calories, high in fat. Those things we need to stay away from. But the simple things, the complex carbohydrates are the simple things of life. The granola and the fruits and the vegetables, they're so good. They're packed with nutritional value. And they're low in calories and they're filling. One helpful way to look at your food selection is through the lens of calorie density. Foods have a certain amount of calories in 1 pound, like for fruits and vegetables. You got 100 to 300 calories in 1 pound. But processed foods, much higher. Oil, 4,000 calories for 1 pound. So when you eat on, the unprocessed, unrefined, whole foods, you can't get a lot of calories. But you get a whole lot of bulk. You got fiber. It fills the stomach up. And the stomach, when it fills, when it stretches, the receptors in the stomach signal the satiety centers in the brain to stop eating. If you're eating foods that are high in fat, higher in oil, your stomach is still empty, but you've consumed a lot of calories, and you're still hungry because the bulk, the fiber, the content in the stomach, it's not pressing outward on the sensors, and so you keep eating and you keep eating, and by the time your stomach is full, you consumed just an incredible amount of calories. This leads to being overweight and obese. So God's plan, it takes care of all the different aspects. And if somebody has a health issue, the thing to do is get on the good health plan and then see if that does not correct the problem. But, I didn't learn the health plan in the university. I didn't learn. When we talked about health, which we rarely did, it was always from the perspective of like what nutritionists would recommend. That's like, it's not very healthy. The food that you find in the hospital, if I can be honest, the food that you find in the cafeteria at the university, it was very unhealthy. Cheeseburgers and French fries. So we need a whole new orientation in regards to nutrition, because as we get older, we want to extend our life. Today we talk about the disease, death, and disability curve. When you hit your late 30s, you got a medication or two. And then in the 40s, you add another medication. In your 50s, another medication. Pretty soon, you need a pill box to try to sort out the medications and when you should take them. And so often, from the 40s, late 30s, 40s, late 40s, from there to the rest of your life is kind of downhill decline on disability, disease, and finally death. But God's plan is not like that. In God's plan, Deuteronomy 33:25, as thy days, so shall thy strength be. God's plan is that we live a long, healthy, fruitful life and then maybe die in the garden at 75 years old. That's the kind of plan I want. I want to be healthy. I want to be vital until the day I die. And God's plan can help us with that. So my dear friends, I realize perhaps your university of training was lacking too, or what you learned in school, what you learned in home economics class. It may not have been the best, but it's never too late. There are plenty of resources to learn about health. And if you need some recipes, I always put my email address at the end of the video. If you like our recipes, we use them in our health center, we use them here in our home, whole food, plant-based, unprocessed, unrefined, no oils, no refined sugars, and they're free. Just drop me an email, say, hey, send me the recipes, give me your email address. I'll send them to you as soon as I get it. And we want the whole package. We want the mental, the physical, the spiritual, the social, and emotional. But the nutrition is a key part in getting good health in the other areas. So God bless you. Hope you have a nice day. Eat for strength and not for drunkenness.